Claire Donovan stood center stage beneath the crystal chandelier, her pulse hammering in her ears like a war drum. The annual gala of Hawthorne and Klein LLP was in full swing, elite partners and clients swirling around her in gowns and tuxedos, champagne flutes sparkling like fractured diamonds. Every face she passed seemed to wear the same expression: admiration for Claire, the firm's senior partner, whose fierce intellect and elegant poise had made her a legend. But tonight, as she clasped the stem of her flute so tightly, her knuckles blanched white, that admiration felt like glass beneath her fist. Beautiful on the surface, deadly when shattered. 2 decades of her life had orbited around this moment. The firm she helped build from scratch, the reputation she policed like a hawk, and the man she married on a spring morning when cherry blossoms drifted through the church doors. Daniel, her husband, law partner, and once her greatest ally, had stood before those same circles with a matching grin. They had been the perfect power couple. Case victories like trophies lined their mantle. Boardroom victories cemented their influence, and whispered rumors of them as the embodiment of balance, ambition tempered by devotion, had fueled the firm's mystique. But tonight, everything teetered on the edge of ruin. Claire's gaze locked on Daniel across the room, where he laughed easily with a younger woman whose tailored suit and too bright smile seemed a grotesque mimicry of Claire's own style. Her breath caught. That woman was not just any associate. She was Daniel's new favorite law partner, Jenna Marlowe. Promoted to his side only 6 months ago, Claire had filed the paperwork, toasted her promotion, brushed aside clients' raised eyebrows at the speed of her rise. Now she understood why. Daniel had been grooming Jenna under the pretext of mentorship, while at home he wove a web of lies. The first hint had come last month, in the form of a lipstick-stained glass she'd found in his office. Daniel's airtight world cracked for a fraction of a second, and it was enough. Claire had followed him after a late meeting, heart thudding when he slipped into Jenna's townhouse. She had watched them through the rain-slicked walkway, his hand at the small of her back, her laughter echoing against the door. More than betrayal, it had been a telescoping heartbreak, every smile, every memory of their life together replayed in perfect agony. Tonight, Claire wasn't just a scorned spouse. She was a woman on fire. The Gala's fundraising auction boasted a violin once owned by a grandmaster. Next, an oil painting expected to fetch a record bid. But Claire's prize wouldn't be art. She planned to seize the one thing Daniel valued most: his immaculate reputation. Months of quiet research had yielded proof: incriminating emails, time-stamped texts, and eyewitness affidavits from the private investigator she had hired under a veil of secrecy. This evening, before the entire firm and its most influential patrons, she would expose the affair. She would cast Daniel and Jenna into scandal, forcing them to face the ruin they had wrought. 1,000 thoughts whirled in her mind. The moment the screen behind her lit up with screenshots of Daniel's confession, the gasps that would ripple through the crowd, the whispers that would follow her into every courtroom for years to come. But beneath the adrenaline lay a deeper tremor, a question as old as their first kiss. In the sear of betrayal, Claire still felt a flicker of something she could not extinguish: love. 2 decades of shared dreams, the birth of their daughter, the nights spent strategizing client wins late into the evening. Could any of that have truly been a lie? Her finger brushed the small remote in her pocket, heart pounding. On cue, the auditorium lights would dim, and her carefully prepared slideshow would project across the stage. No script, no melodrama, just incontrovertible facts and the silent echo of every promise he had broken. Claire lifted her flute. The champagne's effervescence tickled her throat. Around her, laughter swelled, but for Claire, the world had narrowed to a single shimmering point of focus. She drew in a steadying breath, imagining Daniel's face when his world imploded. The image was intoxicating. Claire knew that once she pressed the button, there would be no turning back. She would lose her husband, her partner, maybe even her footing in the firm she adored. Yet in that moment, it felt like the only way to reclaim herself. The anthem of the string quartet softened. Glasses clinked. Claire straightened her spine, lifted her chin, and slipped her hand toward the remote. Tonight, vows would be broken, loyalties would be tested, and Claire Donovan would stand at the crossroads of justice and love, daring to choose which was worth more. The silence that fell as she moved to the podium was the calm before a storm, and she welcomed it, hungry for the reckoning to come. Claire first met Daniel Donovan in the cramped break room of their summer associate program. He was reciting a case citation like a prayer. She quipped a witty counter-argument about tort reform. Their eyes locked, and the rest was history. By the time she accepted his proposal under a canopy of cherry blossoms, her mother's favorite bloom, they were inseparable. They built Hawthorne and Klein LLP together. Long nights drafting briefs, triumphant mornings in court, whispered strategy sessions over takeout sushi. Their partnership was legendary. Daniel's gift for cross-examination complemented Claire's razor-sharp legal mind. Clients marveled at their synergy. Soon they were not only co-founders, but co-parents, welcoming their daughter Lily, whose gummy smiles made every setback worthwhile. In those early years, Claire believed their love was bulletproof. But as the firm's prestige grew, so did the demands. Daniel traveled to London for depositions. Claire managed clients in Hong Kong. Their calendar filled with gala dinners and networking luncheons. They shared stolen weekends in Napa, where they toasted victories and dreamed of retirement under the vine-covered pergola. Subtle cracks began to appear. Daniel's late-night calls became excuses for emergency filings. He withdrew emotionally, offering perfunctory kisses and distracted smiles. Claire chalked it up to stress, until she felt the cold distance in his eyes when she mentioned Lily's recital. And then there was Jenna Marlowe, brilliant, ambitious, 27, and inexplicably Daniel's newest protégé. Claire watched their partnership flourish under his mentorship, applauding Jenna's rapid promotions, until the night Jenna laughed a little too freely at Daniel's jokes, her hand brushing his in a gesture of intimacy Claire had not known in years. 2 decades of happily ever after had given her grace under pressure. But nothing could prepare Claire for the moment she realized her marriage was not built on trust, but on a lie. It started with whispers. Partners in the hallway paused mid-conversation when Daniel's name floated by. Associates exchanged glances over coffee orders. Lily's tutor even asked Claire if dinner would be late again because of an important case. Claire's first real alarm came when she found a pair of earrings in Daniel's coat pocket. Ones she hadn't given him permission to borrow. Her rational mind ran through possibilities. A client gift? Accidentally pocketed? But when she texted Jenna a professional question and received a flirty emoji in return, her heart slammed against her ribs. That weekend, Claire hired a discreet private investigator, Marcus Lee, under the guise of verifying Daniel's alibi for a pro bono hearing. Marcus uncovered a series of late-night visits to Jenna's townhouse, corroborated by security key logs and cab receipts. He emailed Claire, "We need to talk. Meet me Tuesday." Tuesday afternoon, Marcus handed Claire a dossier. Screenshots of text threads, emojis morphing into words of longing, calendar invites stamped at 2 a.m., photographs of Daniel's car parked outside Jenna's front door. Claire felt bile rise in her throat as she paged through proof of betrayal. At the firm, gossip swirled. Claire confronted her best friend and fellow partner, Samira Patel, who dismissed the rumors as office tittle-tattle. Samira warned of the damage a public scandal could do to Claire's career. But Claire, once provoked, was incapable of silence. Every whisper fueled her resolve. She would uncover the whole truth, even if it meant burning every bridge between her and Daniel. That evening, Claire found Daniel in their home office, reviewing deposition notes. The late autumn light cast long shadows across his furrowed brow. "Daniel, we need to talk," Claire said, voice steeled. He looked up, surprise flickering in his blue eyes. She laid Marcus's dossier on the desk. "Explain this." Daniel's calm veneer cracked. "Claire, it's not what you think." She held up her phone. Is this not a confession? Can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? He stood, pacing. Jenna and I, it meant nothing. It was a mistake, a stumble in the dark. Is that why you lied? Told me it was a new mentorship program? Kept me in the dark for 6 months? Tears pricked her eyes. You built this empire with me. How could you betray everything we created? Daniel reached for her hand. I'm sorry. I love you. But I felt lost, like I was just your husband on paper. Jenna understood me. Claire recoiled. You felt lost? And so you cheated? With my law partner? He hesitated. I never planned for it to go this far. Then plan to face the consequences, Claire whispered. I'm done being your best-kept secret. She walked out, leaving Daniel alone with his guilt. Claire spent the next days assembling her plan. She recruited Marcus and leaned on Samira, who, despite initial reservations, agreed to help expose the affair discreetly to the board. She drafted persuasive exhibits, email chains, GPS logs, Jenna's bar receipt signature. She arranged for the firm's IT director to verify metadata and confirm the thread's authenticity. Her heart ached with every detail, but she harnessed that pain as fuel. Claire realized revenge would not heal her wounds, but it would deliver justice and perhaps closure. She rehearsed her speech in front of Lily's bedroom mirror, substituting "my husband" for Daniel, until her voice held steel instead of tears. She crafted an innocuous Gala night presentation on pro bono highlights, then retooled it at midnight into transparency and integrity, a partner's responsibility. The final slide would swap seamlessly to a collage titled Betrayal in the Boardroom, flanked by Daniel and Jenna's incriminating messages. The gala invitation arrived, black tie optional, with a silent auction preview. Claire RSVP'd, her dancing gown hung in the closet. Beneath the sequins and silk, she wore a hidden earpiece linking to Marcus, ready to deploy support. Her last preparation was the hardest. Breathing exercises to steady the tremor in her hands, mantras to fend off self-doubt. I deserve the truth. I deserve my dignity. The Gotham Hotel's grand ballroom glittered with crystal candelabras and gilded columns. Servers wove through the crowd, offering champagne and canapes. Claire entered with Samira, her sequined emerald gown shimmering. She felt every eye, admiration from clients, friendly nods from colleagues, and a flicker of surprise from Jenna as she crossed the room with Daniel. Lily waved from the VIP table, her daughter's proud smile a lifeline. Claire returned the wave, then slipped a small remote into her clutch. She hugged Marcus discreetly. All set? He tapped his earpiece. Go! On cue, the orchestra's mini crescendo signaled the start of presentations. Partners gathered on stage. Daniel stepped up first, offering a tribute to the firm's record year. Applause followed. Then, with a graceful nod, Claire took the podium. Gasps rippled through the room. She was not scheduled. She opened with a calm voice. Thank you, everyone. Tonight, I wish to speak not only about our achievements, but about our values. Values that have guided us through triumph and trial. The screen behind her displayed images of pro bono clients. The mood was solemn, respectful. Claire continued. Transparency and integrity are the cornerstones of our practice. We owe it to our clients, our community, and to ourselves to uphold them without exception. At her signal, the slide shifted. The pro bono montage blinked out, replaced by a stark white background reading, Betrayal in the Boardroom. Below it, side-by-side photos of Daniel and Jenna, smiling, arms around each other, appeared, followed by scrolling snippets of text messages. I need you tonight. Can't wait to be alone with you. Murmurs swelled into whispers. Some guests rose to leave. Daniel's face drained of color. Jenna's jaw clenched. She rose to protest, but Claire pressed the remote again. A third slide, a cab receipt, a key fob log, a notarized affidavit flashed. Claire's voice rang clear. These messages prove a relationship forged in deceit, contravening both marital vows and professional ethics. As senior partner, I cannot stand silent while those we trust undermine our firm, our very livelihood, with lies. The room erupted, chairs scraped. Daniel stormed toward her, but stopped at the edge of the stage. "Claire, what are you doing?" he hissed. She paused, meeting his gaze. "Seeking truth." Then to the audience. "I've informed the firm's ethics committee and will be filing a formal complaint. I welcome anyone else with relevant information to come forward." With that, Claire stepped down to a chorus of stunned silence, punctuated by a few supportive claps. Samira fell in beside her, offering a hand. The pair strode out through a gauntlet of shocked colleagues and flashing cameras. Outside, Lily ran into Claire's arms. "Mom, are you okay?" Claire squeezed her tight. "Better than okay. I'm free." News outlets and legal blogs exploded with the story. Headlines blared, "Power couple's scandal rocks top firm," and "Gala bombshell, senior partner unmasks affair live on stage." The firm placed Daniel and Jenna on administrative leave pending investigation. Lily's school quietly rescheduled her recital to avoid media glare. Claire retreated to her penthouse, the adrenaline draining. She collapsed on the sofa, exhaustion and grief crashing over her. Marcus delivered coffee. Samira sat beside her, offering tissues and a knowing look. "What now?" Samira asked gently. Claire stared at the ceiling. "I have my truth, but I've lost everything else. My marriage, my partnership, my sense of normal." She swallowed hard. "Was it worth it?" Samira squeezed her hand. "You stood for integrity. You showed the world you won't be silenced." Claire closed her eyes. In the quiet that followed, she heard Lily's laughter echo in her mind and felt the hollow ache of Daniel's last apology. Justice had a price, and she had paid it in full. Yet beneath the sorrow lay something else, a fragile seed of hope. Claire realized that in revealing the betrayal, she had reclaimed her agency. The firm's board had approached her to resume leadership. Clients had sent messages of support. She still had a career and a daughter worth fighting for. 1. Hiring the right divorce attorney. Specialization matters. Choose a lawyer experienced in high-asset divorces, preferably one with a background in family law and corporate matters. Fee structures. Negotiate a transparent fee agreement, hourly versus retainer versus hybrid, to manage costs in long, complex cases. Reputation and references. Seek counsel with strong trial credentials and positive client testimonials. 2. Considering marriage counseling or mediation. Early intervention. If infidelity is suspected, a neutral counselor can help couples explore underlying issues before public escalation. Confidentiality. Mediation sessions remain private, reducing reputational harm. Constructive dialogue. Trained mediators facilitate communication, potentially preserving relationships and minimizing emotional damage. 3. Protecting assets and emotional well-being. Prenuptial, postnuptial agreements. Establish clear terms for asset division before disputes arise. Document discovery. Secure digital and physical records, emails, financial statements, phone logs, to support legal strategies. Support network. Engage trusted friends, therapists, or support groups to navigate emotional trauma. Self-care. Prioritize sleep, healthy diet, and stress management practices. Exercise mindfulness to maintain clarity during turmoil. Just as Claire begins to rebuild her life, a confidential board memo lands on her desk, marked Urgent, Family Dynasty Succession Study. The Sinclair family's empire, founded by the late Jacob Sinclair, faces its own reckoning. Whispers of a hostile takeover, contested bloodlines, and a figure from Emma Sinclair's past poised to claim the helm. Claire glances at the memo's first line, her eyes narrowing. Projected loss of control unless non-family executives replaced. Beneath that, a chilling signature. Victor Sinclair. In the shadows of corporate boardrooms everywhere, loyalties will shatter, alliances will form, and a new chapter of betrayal awaits. Next up, boardroom bloodlines. where family ties run deeper than contracts and power can be inherited or seized.